In this tutorial, we're going to look at rendering in Vectorworks. So this is a basic model which, if we go to View, Rendering and Final Quality Renderworks, we can see there's various materials applied to it, like the transparency for the windows, and we're just going to add a few things to the scene to help with the render. So this is a cube and a rectangle, and I'm just going to extrude it -10 to make a floor plane. So the next thing we're going to do is go to the visualization toolbar and put a point light. So a point light will act like the sun. It doesn't have to be in a specific direction, it just adds ambient light from a point. So if we go to the front view and lift that up and back to the top plan, I'm going to copy and paste this, but before we do, I'm just going to change, let's have some shadows, so cut soft shadows. It often doesn't make much of a difference in Vectorworks. The shadows are fairly rudimentary, so I'm adding a couple more lights just to help soften those up. And notice I'm taking the brightness back down to 33%. So roughly, if you've got a light, you want it to be 100%. So then if you've got two lights, you'd potentially have them at 50%. So with the three, we're going for 33%. So they all three of them equal roughly 100%. And this should give us a good light level. So we'll just go back to our render, and you can see it started to improve the look of this building. So there's different types of rendering, all sorts of quick ones. You've got even things like hidden line. So this will render up, just showing the lines that are foremost. OpenGL is just kind of very quick sketch modeling. But final quality Renderworks is a good one. So there's also these different Renderworks styles. So I'm just going to use realistic exterior. It looks slightly different when it renders, so I've just sped this up. It will take a lot longer, but what it does is it applies a global illumination, and we'll generally put a background. Often there's a sky behind there, but you can see there's a very blue tone. This could be corrected in Photoshop, but it does have a specific style. So I'm just going to go back to wireframe, and I'm going to talk about adding in a camera. So when we add in this camera, click one point where the camera is and another point where we want to look. So I can look through this camera by double clicking it, zooming in to the window, and this is the view that the camera can see. So just drag this box out. So now we'll just add a few more cameras into the scene. So zooming out again, and let's have one inside the building. So again, double clicking to see the view. We can actually adjust the view once a camera is put in. So this won't actually create a new camera, but it just adjusts a view, which we can also save. So with the walkthrough tool, if you move the mouse up, it will zoom in, and you can see left and right, and up again to move in, and back obviously moves it back. So with this little icon here, saved views, we can save the view. So I'm going to call this view 2 because I'm going to use the camera for view 1. And a view can either be saved directly as a camera sees it, or with adjustment after. So this one, I'm going to save the camera, double click to view it, make sure it's got a view that we want to see, and back up to our saved views. And call this one view 3. Fine, so that way I've just added a camera and saved the view. On view 2 I did some adjustment to get to exactly the point I wanted, and obviously this is our first view, and I'm going to call this view 1. Okay, so with various views set, we can also turn these views into animation. So there are different views, and if I go to rendering to make sure the animation is going to have a render rather than just being wireframe. Okay, let's go for final quality Renderworks and model create animation. This will bring up this window. So the first thing we need to do is change how long we want the animation to last for. I'm going to go for 20 seconds. Then move along path, animation options, and new. So I've created an animation. So edit, and then you'll have this window open, and we just add in our different views. So you can see I'm just dragging those over. Actually, I'm going to edit again. I'm just going to go background, so my last view is actually view 1. So if I then chose to loop the animation, it would look like a continuous loop. So done on that, done there, and the next thing is save the movie. So the movie is going to be saved as QuickTime Movie onto the desktop. So again, this will take a while. So I'll set this off. You can see it's done 2 frames now of 600. So I'll just fast forward, and it's just completed. There's the movie file on the desktop, and we'll open it with QuickTime. And here we can see the result is a basic animation running through the views that we selected. Okay, so the last thing is exporting to a JPEG. So if we want a still from this render, so select the rendering quality you want and export image file, then set the resolution. So working on 300 dpi, you could work this back from Photoshop to work out how many pixels, but roughly A3 is 5000 by 3500, and we'll go for a JPEG. So save that, and it will save the JPEG to the desktop.